Back when I was a kid, I was really shy. Other kids weren't too kind, so I often used cartoons and films as a means to escape. It sounds kinda sad looking back, but I found a lot of peace in my own company, and sitting in front of the TV with a stack of Disney films on VHS was honestly how I spent most of my free time. I can't remember every show that I was obsessed with in my youth, but I do, however, vividly remember my first encounter with anime. This was a show, like most kids my age, I quickly became obsessed with, but I didn't really know how much it would impact me until much later on. Of course, the show we're talking about is Pokemon. There was just something uniquely special about the opening sequence. I gravitated towards it and was so awe-inspired by the art style, the character designs, and everything about Pokemon that just seemed so different from other Cartoon Network offerings. Obviously, I wouldn't know until way later that Pokemon was an anime, but nevertheless I could tell that it was the best thing I'd ever seen. Now, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, all the children's television stations started to churn out new anime to jump on the hype train that Pokemon fever had created. Every so often a new anime would appear, and as you'd expect, I loved each and every one of them. Beyblades replaced Conkers at school, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards became a new form of currency. I lost count of how many times I watched the first 2 seasons of Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, and slowly but surely I had found my new obsession. It was no longer Disney and Dexter's Laboratory, but Sailor Moon and Gundam model kits. And while all the kids at school grew out of the anime phase, as it was referred to, I just couldn't let go of my childhood favourites. Naturally, I eventually had to find new anime to watch, because no one can really sit through the Namek arc of Dragon Ball for a 5th time and feel completely sane. So I would spend all of my savings at my local HMV on whatever would catch my eye, be it 12 episodes of Bleach for £25 or a copy of Akira or Ghost in the Shell on DVD. I wanted to know more about anime and find my new favourite series. So eventually, after I'd exhausted all of what my pocket money could buy, I have to say that I fell out of love with anime for a short time. Nothing had really scratched that nostalgic itch for me, and I figured that I was maybe just too old for all of those Japanese cartoons. That is, until I discovered Naruto. It was like everything I'd ever loved about anime, all in one epic show about ninjas. I fell down the rabbit hole, and before I knew it, I was up to date with all of the UK DVD releases. And then, as if by magic, when looking in a local bookstore, I stumbled upon a book with Itachi and Sasuke on the cover. This was way ahead of the anime, and by rifling through a few pages, I soon realised what I had discovered. Until this point, I had no concept of what manga was. I didn't know that all of my favourites were created first in manga form and animated much later on. So when I held that volume 43 of Naruto in my hands and I saw the characters come to life on the page, I felt like I'd discovered gold. I immediately bought both volume 42 and 43 of Naruto, went straight home and consumed them from front to back in what felt like a fever dream. How had I only just discovered this? I was in disbelief for the longest time, and I guess you could say that the rest is history. Manga collecting for me started as a gateway to my childhood. A way to create those golden days of anime that I was always so fond of, but over the years it's evolved beyond that. Manga for me is a way to escape, but unlike other forms of entertainment, I'm never truly in that other world unless I have a volume of manga in my hand. And although most of my favourites have changed since back then, I often still get the same feeling of excitement when I open a new volume for the first time. And my honest hope is that that feeling never leaves me. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this change of style. And as always, stay awesome.